I want to demonstrate the best way to take branches um, by using just the tip to do your dissection and then using the slider to do a pullback. First of all, I like to oscillate that score, the tip of the cone while I'm doing dissection. I just twist the white handle with my inside hand, and I use that for taking branches. Here, I'm just going to use the very tip of the cone to make a tiny space, slide the blades in, and I start cauterizing at the tip and then move to the crux. If it doesn't fall apart, I'll pull back on the blades to finish the branch. Here, as I move forward, just cauterizing, the branch is always in view, and then I slide back to finish. Here again, I'm just using the tip of the cone to create space. That's all the dissection that I need to do. I start at the end of the blades, cauterize, move forward, and then finish by sliding back the blades. And you see a good seal there. Here's another one. I used a little more of the cone to do my dissection there. But again, I start at the ends of the blades, I start cauterizing, move to the crux, and then slide the slider back, and cut the branch with the blades. This technique keeps the branch in view at all times. Some people that have been training, other people have commented that, moving forward, they don't see the branch cut. This technique will allow you to see the branch cut in view each time. Again, I start at the tips and then move forward. This spray on the cone is your visual cue that you are cauterizing the branch. I move to the point where I don't see any more spray forming. I slide the blades back and get a good seal on a large branch. It works very well on large branches. I'm refining my technique, improving it on these small branches. Here, I don't want to do any more dissection. I just use the tip, one pass, and then slid back after I cauterize with the tips of the blades. Here's a larger branch. Again, I'm just using the tip of the cone to do the dissection. I'm not pushing through with any more than that. That's all the space you should need. The fat that you leave acts as countertraction, helps cut the branch. Here, I'm cauterizing at the tips of the blades. I'm moving forward, keeping the branch in view, and then pulling back on the slider to cut that big branch. Here is another branch. I use the tip to do some countertraction, slide my blades out. Again, here I kind of cauterize right in the middle. Normally I would start at the tips, but this worked fine. I cauterize 2-3 times, and then do the pull back after the spray stops. And then just advance through the adventitia that's left behind. Here I'm just using the tip of the cone. That's the only space you need. You don't need to do more than that. It's an adjustment. If you're switching from one of the legacy systems, you only need to do a little bit of dissection. I cauterize, I see my spray, the spray stops, and I slide my blades back and cut the branch. Always keeping it in view, getting a great seal each time. Here's a tough branch. It's right at that trocar. You don't have a lot of room. So I'm just using the tip so I don't stir up a lot of bleeding. Also oscillating as I go past this branch to cut down on shearing and bleeding. Elevate the branch with my conical tip. Get my score in position so I know my blades are coming out in the right spot. That 45-degree angle. Cauterize 2-3 times until I don't see any more spray, all in the same spot, and then slide back the blades in the same spot. You get a great seal on large branches. Here's a tiny branch. This is less than a millimeter. Obviously, you don't want to do any more dissection than that. I finally get my blades right, and I'm just cauterizing with the tip. I move forward just a touch, maybe a millimeter, and then slide back to cut it. Right here, I'm going to slide back. Didn't need to do any dissection on that. Now you got a nice seal on a tiny branch. Here's a more complex branch. I'm finding that if I even do some pre-cautery, a lot of times you're dissecting out branches that have other vessels attached to it. Go ahead and cauterize them right next to the branch. You don't have to wait till you cut it. I make my small window with just the tip of the cone, a little bit of oscillation. I have my space now. I'm going to sneak in with these low profile blades. Start at the tip of the blades and start cauterizing. You're going to see the spray. That's your visual cue that you're getting a seal. I moved towards the crux. I checked it, moved towards the crux again, and did my pullback right here. I slid the blades back real quickly, but I still have a little bit of bleeding and more vessels there. I go back and do the same thing. I'm going to cauterize, get my visual cue, then I'm getting a seal, do the pullback, and then push through with my conical tip through the adventitia.